There's a general sentiment that movies released straight to any streaming service are lesser films than the ones given the theatrical treatment. These films aren't given respect from most audiences because most streaming content is just put on as background white noise or as a way for parents to entertain their kids. Animation specifically fills this role a lot of the time, and I'm gonna gloss over how streaming companies treat animated films entirely, because that's a whole nother can of worms. But whether or not these films are good is up to debate. And there are Netflix and Disney Plus original films I would have loved to see in theaters if studios were confident enough in them, or if there wasn't a global pandemic. Like Glass Onion, Soul, Luca, Del Toro's Pinocchio, or even the recent Killer of Killers or The Mitchells vs. Machines, which is the movie that made me want to go into filmmaking. And Netflix is more often than not putting out original films compared to any of the other big streaming dogs. And recently, one of their films took the internet by storm, and the other one is one I've become a bit obsessed with. In association with Sony Pictures Animation, Netflix released K-Pop Demon Hunters on June 20th, and then at the beginning of the month, they also dropped the animated Korean drama Lost in Starlight, directed by Han Ji-won. There are plenty of great films that have come out this year, and plenty of good ones I haven't seen, like Sinners, the newest highest-grossing animated film Ne Zha 2, or Mickey 17, the newest Wes Anderson film, and a lot more. The list goes on. But these two films take the cake as my favorite animated films of the year so far. The first one I want to talk about is Lost in Starlight, Netflix's debut Korean animated film, which follows Nan Young, a NASA scientist, as she prepares for an expedition to Mars, but abruptly meets Jae, a local indie musician. The two end up falling for one another, but face struggles as Nan Young prepares for her trip to the Red Planet. The plot on paper sounds like a generic romance movie mixed with some interstellar stuff, but the script and the style that this team bring to it make it even more entertaining. The visual style is the most jarring part of the film. Set in Korea around the year 2050, the film has a lot of natural Korean architecture combined with futuristic technology, like drones, holograms, and a lot of pretty much everywhere. It almost reminds me of Stray, minus the dystopian, dead world and everything. The style is very unique and distinct enough in the slew of futuristic animated films to stand out in the crowd. There's so many shots that make this world feel real and lived in, with the cinematography lending a hand to that. The wide shots are beautiful. They look like something I'd use as a wallpaper. Out of the first half of this year's lineup, this is absolutely one of the prettiest films. The colors pop with every frame. The 2D style is filled with so much life, and nothing ever feels cheap or done to add surface level pizzazz. There's one shot near the end that uses the earth and the record player in such a genius way that I've been kind of obsessed with this one singular shot. Like, it's such a simple idea, but they execute it so well, and that's how you know you're watching a good animated film, when they take simple ideas and just roll with it. It all really elevates the main story and the stakes of the final act. There's so many shots here where you can see the budget they had for this. There's so many moving elements or colors or some epic panning shot that really makes your jaw drop. They didn't have to go this hard for a romance flick, but they did, and I'm very thankful for it. It elevates this great love story even more. And speaking of, the romance in this film is so sweet. It feels very natural, with the characters never doing anything too cartoonishly out of proportions for a rom-com story. Everything is paced fairly, and we get a good gist of Nan Young and Jae both as partners and as singular people. Everything is paced fairly, and we really buy Nan Young and Jae's bond as the film goes on. And even by themselves, when you take the romance aspect out of the film, they're both incredibly engaging characters. Nan Young is so well written, never really falling into cliche with her arc about her mom and the NASA Mars mission. And when Jae finds out about it, he doesn't become overtly clingy or out of character. He acts accordingly with his stress over her mission. If anything, he remains more grounded to earth. Though he isn't as well written, I think I relate to Jae more because of the music side of his character. His story of overcoming his anxieties and pursuing his music as an art form again is also really compelling. The concert he hosts in the climax is so good, and his original music has been on my playlist since this movie came out. Oh my god, the music in general in this film is incredible. There's so many different artists that they got, and they all do a great job of accompanying and applying this film's aesthetic. And the score is euphoric, especially in that last half hour where things go down. I really like how many music-focused films we've gotten like this. Sinners, Dogman's jazz-inspired score, the composers of Everything Everywhere working on Thunderbolts, and to an extent, a Minecraft movie with the original Jack Black songs. I did not mean all the music was good, I just mentioned we were getting movies with music in them. This might be the most solid soundtrack of the year. If not for K-pop Demon Hunters. Now is their part of the video. Speaking first about the songs, the way Demon Hunters uses music is very different than from how Lost in Starlight does. The writers had to create music that sounds like it would come from a real K-pop group like New Jeans or Cat's Eye, which is why they brought on songwriters who've worked for Twice and Red Velvet, among other K-pop groups. And on top of that, they brought real K-pop singers in to provide the vocals for Rumi and a couple of the Saja boys. But not only are the songs something people would listen to, instead of just being super cringe like a lot of non-musical animated films, but people are actually listening to it. Saja Boys and Huntrix in real life have topped the US Spotify charts. The first animated film to do that since Across the Spider-Verse. That's an incredible accomplishment, especially for K-pop, a genre that a lot of people look down upon. I know a lot of people who are gonna get interested in K-pop because of this movie, and I love that. I'm not a huge K-pop guy. I have the artists that I like, but this movie makes me want to listen more to those artists and listen more to other K-pop groups. Maybe I need to give BTS a try. Maybe I also don't. It is BTS after all. I've had Tyler, Chappell, Kendrick, and Pharrell all in my rotation for the past couple of months. Maybe I need to change things up. To an extent. I'm not crazy. While the music is great, if the characters weren't good, this wasn't going to be something I cared about. Luckily, all our Demon Hunters are a really entertaining trio. Rumi is a great protagonist. I love her arc about self-worth and how the music reflects that in the score repeating the main theme from her song Golden. That's such a simple idea, but they do it so well. And while I do find her arc engaging, I don't get why we needed a liar reveal story in 2025. I love the other Huntress girls too. They aren't anything groundbreaking, but they're good co-leads and they have natural chemistry with one another. I buy them being lifelong friends, cash money making musicians, and demon hunters. But okay, you've heard enough praise about them. Let me talk about the Saja boys. These demons have been the most talked about part of this film, and there's a good reason behind that. Not only is Jinu one of the best characters of the film, having as well written of an arc as Rumi, but the extra Saja boys, who are textbook definitions of flat characters, have so much serious attention to detail that I love. One thing I love is how Baby Saja is treated as the baby of the group, both being infantilized by the Saja boys fandom and having I'm a Little Teapot as the background instrumental during his verse on Soda Pop. There's a bit of meta commentary about how some K-pop fandoms will infantilize and fetishize these members of the groups. But then, when the boys take their mask off and sing Your Idol, he moves with so much intensity, seductiveness, and the complete opposite of how the fandom and he represented himself. It's hypnotic how he acts, and it fits the Saja Boys' true motive. God, it's just so good. There's so much thought put into the little things in this movie. I miss when animated films had a passion behind them. I love this. There's so many details in both of these films that they didn't have to add, but they went the extra mile because they cared about the stories they were making. Both these creative teams deserve their props because this is just an incredible moment to be a fan of animation. Despite Elio flopping, I'm really glad that K-pop Demon Hunters is getting the attention it deserves. And I really hope with this video drawing in the K-pop Demon Hunters fandom, I can draw in people to go watch Lost in Starlight because these are both incredible animated films. Like I said in the intro, despite not seeing some of the heavy hitters of this year, I really do consider these some of the best films of the year so far. I can confidently say these are two incredible movies on their own merits, and Lost in Starlight, while not getting anywhere near the attention of Demon Hunters, is almost guaranteed to find itself in my top 10 at the end of the year. For Demon Hunters, I'm feeling it 8.5 out of 10. One of the best films Netflix has put out in ages. I'm really excited to see where Sony's creative team is going after Across the Spider-Verse, Mitchell's, and this. And remember earlier when I said these were two of my favorite animated films of the year? Yeah, it's K-pop, Thunderbolts, then Lost in Starlight. A beautifully scored, heartwarming, and heartbreaking, excellently directed 9 out of 10. And I'm so excited for the Academy to overlook it come award season. But I can't speak for you. I highly recommend watching these films next time you're scrolling through Netflix. It's better than The Electric State or the new Medea movie, which we apparently are getting in the year of our Lord 2025. Farewell, Soda Pops.